Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about balancing Path of Exile, about what is currently probably the strongest skill, and not really a skill because there is a huge misbalance, and because of that I'm playing constantly the same builds over and over because they are so OP. So I will eventually show you to everything and it will make sense. So first of all, when GGG is balancing skills, they are looking at mostly two things: clear and DPS. So if the skill has more clear, they give it less DPS. So Fireball is something between clear and single target. We can see that it has 2800 DPS. In order to have some clear, you need to add in more projectiles. But Freezing Pulse, I would say that has better clear. And yeah, it has also less DPS. If you look at the Flame Blast, which has worse clear, we can see that it has higher DPS, so it's kind of balanced. In a similar way, if we look at some arranged build, let me just add here the element late of Spectrum. We can see that it has similar DPS to Freezing Pulse, and the reason is because it's clear skill. The same way as with clear Freezing Pulse, you still need to add the additional projectiles. Um, but yeah, it's kind of makes sense. Like the more clear you have, the less DPS you have. Um, if you look at like Arc and look at the DPS. Again, similar to Freezing Pulse, you don't need to support it with more projectiles, but the clear is kept because it only changed 7 times. So yeah, everything makes sense, everything is balanced. If you look at melee, you should have more DPS because you are ranged. I mean, sorry, you are melee. So you need to invest more into defense in order to deal damage. So you are no longer like killing enemies from afar. You are trading with them. You are trading your life for their life. So you need to be tankier. And in order to do that, your base DPS needs to be higher or the scaling needs to be higher. GGG increased the base damage of melees by increasing the percentages numbers. So I have here air chatter, which is kind of meta, and it has maybe like, if you overlap 3 spikes, it's like 6000 DPS, without taking into consideration war cries, which could increase this. But also there is some downtime because you need to cast the war cries, then you need to detonate the spikes. But let's say that you have 6000 DPS with air chatter, which might be good, might be not. It depends. It's harder to balance these special cases, but what is easy to balance are the easy cases. Like Heavy Strike with Accelerated Favor has 5500 DPS, which is more than all ranged attacks, including single target spells. And Heavy Strike is kind of single target attack. You can buff it by going for melee splash here and also getting additional strike uh, here. Um, and therefore you have kind of both single target and a clear skill, which is decent. Heavy Strike isn't really meta. There is like mm, double strike, yeah, double strike, which is better. Also because it's of its Val version and because it has better clear. Uh, so Heavy Strike isn't the best example, but it's good because we are going to compare it to another skill, which is similar in function but better, and that is Dominating Blow. And again, this 5000 DPS was with weapon, like both weapon slots are locked. Now with Dominating Blow, I don't have any weapon. Let me just swap it here. Yes, like here. I don't have any weapon, which means that I have both slots open. I can go for like shield charge and into my like first hand, I can use Scourge, which can boost my DPS slightly. Because I don't have any tree, I'm not gonna do that right now. But yeah, just keep in mind that I have both slots open on top of the things that I'm going to talk about. So one minion has almost 1000 DPS, which is, if you have two minions, you deal more damage than most players with clear skills, like by default, which is pretty good. If you have 9 minions, which are the default minions, I have more DPS than with Heavy Strike. And this is already where the balance is starting to break. Heavy Strike is a skill that requires you to constantly hit enemy. And Dominating Blow, you only need to hit enemy a few times, like maybe once before he dies. And then you have get minions with new buffed 30-second duration. So you have constant DPS of minions that charge into enemies and kill them. And you also have some your DPS on top of that. Like if I compare it to Heavy Strike, um, it has less damage, but not that much less. Like if I compare again, let me take Aceri's favor. Player has almost 4,000 DPS with Dominating Blow, and with Heavy Strike I have like 5,000. So on top of having minions which are better than my Heavy Strike build, Dominating Blow isn't that much weaker. Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense like how powerful that skill is. So yeah, let me get rid of this again because it screws up the results. So I have 8,500 DPS, and this is only with the base minions. When I'm clearing, I will quite possibly be able to get all of the minions, which is 13, which is like 12,000 DPS. And that is considering that I don't have any like not any like stronger Sentinel dominance. I can get rare one, which boosts my allies even more. So yeah, it can be even slightly better in some cases. On top of that, I have Vile Domination, which has again a lot of abilities, but considering we have default attacks, and I have 3 of those, this is another 7,000 DPS added to my Dominating Blow DPS, which is just the wall spell, which I can constantly sustain. Can give me as much DPS as Heavy Strike itself. Okay, so like this. So if I have 3, yeah, it's 7,000. So that's 7,000 DPS plus this 12,000. So let's say that we are at 20,000 DPS. And that's not all, because I can have other minions. There is also a unique helmet, which allows me to not play other minions, but get double amount of minions of one type, which I think is balanced. But this helmet really shows how powerful minions are by default. Because Heavy Strike, if you are playing Heavy Strike, that's the only skill you are doing for damage. If you are playing Dominating Blow with this helmet, it's the only skill you are doing for damage. So it should be like comparing apples to apples. But if I have double the amount of minions, like my DPS goes through the roof. Instead of having 20,000 total, I have 40,000 total DPS. And this is base DPS without any skill tree, without any like buffs. Like where Arc has 2000 DPS, where Fireball has also, let's say, 2000 DPS, where Flame Blast you need to channel to get 4.5 thousand DPS. Where you have Heavy Strike with 7, maybe 5, 6, 7,000 DPS. You have also Dominating Blow with 40,000 DPS. And that's not all, because there is also quite a few great ascendancies. I can potentially go for... I'm not sure what will happen if I do this, but if I go for Guardian and I take this thing, how much DPS does it add me? Seems like maybe 30%. Yeah, okay, that's not that huge, but it is quite a lot anyway. So you can scale it quite well because each minion has like 100% damage effectiveness. And you have like 26 of them, so that's 2600 damage effectiveness on each of the minions attacks. So if you want to scale their base DPS, you can do it quite well. Also, you can go for Witch and Necromancer. which with Unholy Might, you ignore enemy armor, which is great. Uh, and you can also get Wither effect, which can double your DPS. Once again, double DPS, double DPS. You are doubling your DPS again. So instead of having 40,000 base DPS, assuming you can get to the 15 stacks, which is not that easy, because it only lasts 2 seconds and there is not a huge chance, you will double your DPS to 80,000 base DPS. This is base DPS. Again, I need to say it again. Base DPS. This is without any tree, skill tree. So if you are struggling with your, I don't know, split arrow build on tier 1 maps with 200,000 DPS, dominating blow without any skill tree is already at 80,000. No skill tree, once again. Well, I actually have the ascendancy, but yeah, the ascendancy is huge. There is also the Withering Touch, which is decent for DPS because it just adds you like 29% more DPS. But it also gives you chance to apply Wither on hit, which is huge. So yeah, that's pretty good. Also, because the minions are using a lot of AoE skills, you don't even need to give them melee splash. You can just go for this thing and not gloves and get the additional strike for you to get easier way to gain those minions, or you can get additional strike here. You can just annoy this if you want. And the minions, if you give them like multi-strike, the Val minions will just slam Thunder over and over and destroy everything. Your other minions will also cast a lot of AoE skills. So yeah, you can just go full single target DPS and have pretty good clear. I've played Dominating Blow like twice only, and that was my like one of the best builds ever. Like so much DPS on a budget. It's kind of like playing Essence Drain when it comes to early game power, but it scales much better into late game. Like I hit them like dot cap with that, and I was like 80 million DPS while having dot cap of like what is that 40 million I think. So yeah, I could run even high delirious maps quite easily. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to show in this video. The game is decently balanced when comparing apples to apples. But minions just by default, even if you look at other minions, they're also gonna be powerful. It's not like Dominating Blow is the only minion that's OP. Like if you know Bama, you know that's OP and it's been nerfed. And yeah, the reason why it's OP is because it's minion. Like all minions are OP. If you want strong build, just play minions. It's gonna be very strong. Thank you for watching. See you next time.